understand the lack of answers frustrates you in the public, but trust me, no one is more frustrated than we are.
Just around Ben Hill Road in that area. That's the main. Cause she's 5 years old and she left the house. Evidently, she got a little farther than they expected.
Well, in order to go to jail, you have to commit a crime that is go to jail.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
And 110 Ben Hill Road on the Beach Creek should be the first residence on your right. Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Yeah, for one America.
And 110.
10-4 House Madison. 335, I'll be alright as well. You say when you got the original call that mom went on the run and when you came back, the Sandra was gone?
That's what the father advised. He's at work about an hour away, trying to make his way home.
Those are like 302. I had him on the phone, but lost him. You're that's any questions he may have on it.
10-4. You want us to try to contact Dana?
Let 302 know, and I think he's going to let rescue make that determination.
302 has been notified. He also wanted me to just remind you to be sure to check the house camera, even if they said they've already had.
Hawkins County Rescue Squad on members, mutual aid request, search and rescue. For Churchill Rescue Squad, staging areas will be at Mount Carmel Baptist Church on Beach Creek.
Yeah, I think so.
Hawkins County Rescue Squad on members, mutual aid request from Churchill Rescue on a search and rescue.
Available resource that we have, and today I want to use you all. I want the word to get out to all the residents in the Upper Beach Creek community, Hawkins County and Sullivan County. We need the residents to go back today, tonight, tomorrow, as soon as possible, go back and check their entire property, any outbuildings, any barns, any place a child could hide. We desperately need you to do that for us.
Did you have a question?
I was going to ask.
Okay.
Has the family been ruled out? I know they said that they understood you investigating them and interviewing them. Have they been ruled out at this time? Or are you still working?
As we've said time and time again, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance are very much under investigation. And at this time, we continue to explore all possibilities.
A lot of the help that they need is that type of emotional support. You know, having the prayer vigils, whenever they're, and you can imagine the kind of ups and downs that they're going through, and they have some of these, to be able to pick the phone up and text and have a response, or pick the phone up and call and have a response. They're already going through a horrible time. Can you imagine? That's the most horrible thing that can happen to a person is to have their child abducted. and they're going through this, and it's the depression and the shock and not knowing, is she safe? Is she being harmed? What's happening to her? It's very
I believe that she would probably be somewhere close by, because we found nothing to lead us to believe that she's been abducted or trafficked out of the area.
Trafficked out of the area.
Trafficked out of the area.
Out of the area.
Prove it. Out of the area.
Prove it.
I believe that she would probably be somewhere close by, because we found nothing to lead us to believe that she's been abducted or trafficked out of the area.
Prove it. Works alongside the TBI and FBI.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson is in charge of the investigation.
Everybody that's involved in this case is persons of interest. We've not ruled anyone out.
What do you think happened? What does your heart tell you?
Well, I know in my heart and in my mind she was abducted. Someone snuck up there when we weren't exactly paying attention. We weren't exactly paying attention. And we don't know if they come in the basement and grabbed her, or if she stepped outside the basement and was walking to her swing or something.
You can see the Wells house up through the trees on the hill right here. Summer was home with her mom, Candace. Her younger brothers and her grandmother was also on the property. And what the family thinks happened is that someone took Summer, brought her down this steep embankment to possibly a car that was waiting in the roadway. He says he wants the focus to remain on Summer and finding whoever took her.
We love our daughter with all our hearts. We miss her. We'd do anything to have her back in that church with us that she so loves.
The sheriff says the Wells are cooperating, but that there's no evidence at this point that Summer was kidnapped or abducted. Is it possible that Summer's parents, Candace and Dawn, had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything's possible.
And right now, detectives say they are looking for a red or maroon pickup truck that may have been in the area around the time that Summer Wells went missing. But another interesting thing, Marnie, he did confirm for me today that both of Summer's parents did pass a polygraph test.
Which is?
Did pass a polygraph test.
Which is?
Did pass a polygraph test.
Which is something I know a lot of people have wondered. Don't just vanish. Those are the words from retired homicide detective Chris McDonough. He has spent his career looking into high-profile cases from John Benet Ramsey to Elizabeth Smart. Now he's focusing his attention on the disappearance of Summer Wells as the host of The Interview Room, and we continue to follow Summer's case as well here on Prime. Chris is back with us tonight. Chris, good to see you. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for inviting me.
So Summer's parents, Don and Candace, have been the target of threats, accusations that they had something to do with Summer's disappearance. They have denied any involvement. They say that she was abducted. They have passed a polygraph test. They have passed a polygraph test. They have passed a polygraph test. At this point, the sheriff is saying anything's on the table. All people are persons of interest. But has the public jumped to conclusions too soon on these parents without the evidence to back this up?
Yeah, I think everybody is innocent till proven guilty.
Yeah, I think everybody is innocent till proven guilty.
Yeah, I think everybody is innocent till proven guilty for sure.
Chris, police say that there was no evidence of foul play, yet they issued an Amber Alert.
Police say that there was no evidence of foul play, yet they issued an Amber Alert.
Chris, police say that there was no evidence of foul play, yet they issued an Amber Alert. How can they be so sure?
Well, that's a great question. The investigative process is still, ongoing. It could be an accident. It could be, something, an intentional act of some sort. It could be an accident. It could be, something, an intentional act of some sort. It could be an accident. It could be, something, an intentional act of some sort. I think the investigators, and we heard Sheriff Lawson even say today, that everything is still on the table.
What's the deal with this red truck? It is potentially a piece of this puzzle. Have you heard anything about the truck? Has it led to any evidence or information for investigators?
Well, at this point, TBI has reported that the red truck, they want to try to contact that individual who may have been driving. There is a witness. There is a witness who is really vague about whether it was around the area on the 14th or the 15th. So it could have been the day before or the day of Summer's disappearance. However, I think what they want to do is just check the box to eliminate that truck. They have eliminated a lot of red trucks in that area.
How closely would investigators be looking at family and friends of both Candace and Don, this inner circle of people that they know, especially given the fact that Don has admitted that they had some wrong friends, or at least Candace did?
She's not going to allow any situation like that. The biggest mistake she might have made is maybe choosing some wrong friends, which is, you know, it happens. But other than that, no way.
Do you think any of those wrong friends could have something to do with it?
We don't know.
I know you all have had some ups and downs in your past with alcohol and drugs. Do you think one of those people that came around could have?
No, we can't go there.
That would be significant. And you want to, you know, again, you want to look at the abduction theory, and you have to think, you know, how high of a risk would a subject who would want to, you know, take a child, a 5-year-old, how high of a risk would that suspect take? And in that terrain and coming up that hill with the information that Summer between 2 and 10-minute time frame was in that basement, you know, the universe would have to be 100% on schedule for all those stars to align. So that's where you want to start, you know, shifting your focus in relationship to, you know, taking a look at the inner circle, who had access to that property and or who had access to the parents.
110, Picking Road off of Beach Creek should be the first residence on your run. Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
10 for 1 of the miracle.
10, 110.
10 for house, Madison. 335, I'll be alright as well.
35.
You say when you got the original call that Bob went on the run, and when you came back, that Sandra was gone?
That's what the father advised. He's at work about an hour away, trying to make his way home.
Notify 302. I had him on the phone, but lost him. You're that's a great question he may have on it.
10-4. You want us to try to contact Dana?
Let 302 know, and I think he's going to let rescue make that determination.
302 has been notified. He also wanted me to just remind you to be sure to check the house camper, even if they said they've already had.
Hawkins County Rescue Squad all members, mutual aid request, search and rescue. The Churchill Rescue Squad, staging areas will be at Mount Carmel Baptist Church on Beach Creek.
Yeah, I think so.
Hawkins County Rescue Squad all members, mutual aid request from Churchill Rescue on a search and rescue.
5 months is a long time for this little girl to be missing. As more time goes by, how optimistic are you that this case is solvable, that we can find Summer and bring her home safely?
Well, I'm always optimistic. You know, statistically, though, you know, that optimism starts to dwindle. However, I do believe this case will be solved. I think they have the correct resources on it with TBI, FBI, as well as the Hoxha County Sheriff's Department in the lead. And I, like you and the rest of the nation, are praying. I'm praying that they do find her alive.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has not publicly commented on specifics of the case until now. I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes. 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 Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good trail, a track for a little while, but then it disappeared, but they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines, they will lose the scent when it changes different type, where they maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
That's right. Summer's father tells me he believes the trouble started at the basement door, a door he says her brothers often left unlocked and wide open.
And we'd get on them a lot, and so you can't do that, but it just, you know, we'd always find it open a lot of times and stuff. And so we tried to control that, but to know, you know, they couldn't control it 100% of the time.
Dawn Wells tells me Summer was last seen going to the basement to play with her toys. Her 3 older brothers upstairs, her mother and grandmother in the yard facing away from the basement door, and Dawn Wells at work.
We don't know if someone was waiting in the basement or if she come outside here and went to the swing. All we know is she went down the basement. All we know is she went down the basement. All we know is she went down the basement.
Wells says he believes someone was lurking at the top of the dog trail, just feet away from the basement door. He says the predator somehow managed to snatch Summer, then raced down the steep hill as she struggled.
I guess you guys want to walk down through here?
The trail was not an easy walk. To get down the rugged hill, Wells and I had to hold on to trees. I struggled not to trip or even fall on tree roots.
And you can slide a little bit.
So the dogs kind of came down this trail here?
Yeah.
It's pretty steep.
Yeah. And I didn't know the dogs even had a trail down through here till the police dogs followed it all the way to the road.
Wells says he overheard authorities say search dogs followed Summer's scent down the trail to the road before losing it. He painted a vivid picture of a kidnapping, telling me a neighbor likely heard Summer scream.
I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere, because our neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think they just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her somewhere far away from here.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has not publicly commented on specifics of the case until now. I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good trail, a track for a little while, but then it disappeared, but they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines, they will lose the scent when it changes different type, where they maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
And did a neighbor hear a scream?
Best I recall, it's been a couple months ago, I think that was unfounded.
Wells tells me the family home on Ben Hill Road is surrounded by drug dealers and buyers.
You get all kinds, you know, with the drug trade, and we've seen quite a bit of stuff surrounding the meth thing. They parked in our neighbors caught them parked at our road in our driveway in the middle of the night or early in the morning and stuff like that, and run them off, and they get mad and they raise Cain, and we've had quite a bit of problems.
But Sheriff Lawson tells me Wells lives on a quiet street.
I've heard rumors of, you know, there is maybe a drug dealer on that road, but
I've heard rumors of, you know, there is maybe a drug dealer on that road, but
I've heard rumors of, you know, there is maybe a drug dealer on that road, but it's just like anywhere. Ben Hill Road is no different than any other roads in Hawkins, Sullivan, or any other county, as far as even Knox County. We all have drug problems, but.
At Summer's hilltop home, Wells showed me a refrigerator he says Summer played on.
I don't know what else she did. What in the world is that?
And we walked to Summer's swing. This is her favorite.
That's her favorite. Yeah, she liked to twirl.
Don Wells is pleading for his daughter's return.
Whoever has her will have mercy, and please let her come home.
Sheriff Lawson says investigators remain committed to finding Summer.
Everyone in Summer's case is still a suspect.
Inside. What about this, Erica? Does the sheriff still believe that the public can help find Summer?
Sheriff Lawson says he wants people in the Beach Creek area to keep looking for signs of Summer, especially pieces of clothing that could still turn up in fields. Investigators also need help finding that red Tacoma truck seen in the area near the time of Summer's disappearance. It has a ladder rack and white buckets in the bed.
Still haven't found that. All right, Eric.
Is the family still cooperating? I know you said, obviously, Don's there, but like the mother and all those other people, are they still cooperating?
No, they're not cooperating right now. They have a turn.
They have a turn.
They have a turn.
Family has attorneys involved, and that is not a direct line of communication.
That tone is quite the change from what it was last year when Summer was first reported missing.
It was pretty good. We would show up about every day, make sure that they were okay, and had a decent line of communication with them.
About a month later, in July, Child Protective Services removed her 3 older brothers from their home and appointed attorneys to the case.
They have been appointed for other instances, but it bleeds over into this investigation as well.
So,
with Mr. Wells, he knows at any time he wants to talk to let their staff know, and I will get to him as quick as I can.
But Pruitt hopes the Wells family knows, despite the other legal troubles, they can reach out anytime.
Communication between me and the family have changed, but I hope that they still understand that they can come talk to me at any time they want to.
Is the family still cooperating? I know you said, obviously, Don's there, but like the mother and all those other people, are they still cooperating?
No, they're not cooperating right now. They have a turn.
Meanwhile, today.
A few months ago, you guys said that the parents were not cooperating anymore. Has there been any change in that, especially as Don Wells is incarcerated here in this facility?
We're not going to characterize cooperation at this time. Honestly, doing so does nothing but create more speculation, and it doesn't benefit the investigation. But thank you for asking.
We're not going to characterize cooperation at this time. Honestly, doing so does nothing but create more speculation, and it doesn't benefit the investigation.
We're not going to characterize cooperation at this time. Honestly, doing so does nothing but create more speculation, and it doesn't benefit the investigation. But thank you for asking.
Is there still a reward being offered if any information or Summer is found?
Well, I can tell you that law enforcement did not coordinate that reward, so you would need to reach out to the Churchill Rescue Squad for information in that aspect.
Are the boys still in DCS custody?
That's not something we can speak to.
We do know that last year you guys pushed out some information about the red truck. I know that this is on here, but just so we can talk about it with you guys. Is that still something you're looking for? Do you still want people to submit tips, or is that over and we're just not looking for the red truck anymore?
I'm going to call on TBI Special Agent in charge, Derek Newport, just to talk about that and where that stands.
I would tell you yes, just to eliminate. We still don't have a good timeline of when that was observed.
We still don't have a good timeline of when that was observed.
We still don't have a good timeline of when that was observed. People that frequent areas on a regular basis can get days mixed up. We still want to figure out who, if possible, and if that's even a legitimate lead. As she said earlier, we've followed a lot of dead leads that didn't produce anything. So that obviously is still something we want to put to bed, but it's not. We still can't pinpoint a date and exact location of that truck.
When this first came out, you guys said that Summer was last seen walking away from her home. That was like one of the initial reports that night. of, and then things kind of changed the following days. There's any evidence that she walked away from home, or any evidence leading toward an abduction, or do we have any evidence of anything that night otherwise?
We don't have anything specific, and I think what's important to note there is that the sheriff mentioned how many hours we've put into this investigation and how much time has been spent exploring every possible walk-off, abduction, other foul means.
Walk-off, abduction, other foul means.
Walk-off, abduction, other foul means. And I think that's the thing to keep in mind is it's still really wide open as to the what. We try to stay away from developing theories and just follow facts.
You mentioned that you're continuing to look at this case every day. Are there more searches planned as we're approaching the summer months?
No specific plan. However, if we get specific information about a specific location, building, what have you, we will coordinate with each other to go take a look at that location. What made it hard back in the summer is obviously the foliage. That's why you saw the 2 searches that were when the leaves were on the ground, so that we could use air assets and that you could actually see more of what's on the ground at the time. People say, well, leaves to cover things up. Well, you get to moving things around enough, you'll see what you're looking for.
You'll see what you're looking for. You'll see what you're looking for.
You'll see what you're looking for.
In the past, you said that there's no evidence that there was an abduction. Does that still stand?
It still stands.
Do the facts point towards one theory more than another?
No, they do not.
Point out one more thing. This case is not cold. We get asked that a lot. It's not. We're talking.
Why? And he looked at me and I said, "Watch Sissy, I'll be right back." And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids." And that's when I come back up into the house.
She was definitely going to be tall, I'd say, because she was growing so fast. I'm sure she would be the same person, and she didn't have no qualms about taking on her brothers, that's for sure. She didn't hesitate to put them in their place real quick. We really want our boys back home. If Summer was to be found today, we wouldn't be able to see her or talk to her, and we can't talk to our boys.